and we'll get started. So settling in, finding a comfortable way to rest on the earth, seated or lying down. I mean, I say lying down, but if you prefer seated, that's fine. And then allow the body to root, allowing gravity to draw you in. Noticing where the body is making contact with the earth and settling into those places and spaces. Bringing awareness to the breath. Following the breath from beginning to end. Allowing the exhales to settle you a little deeper. Body resting in stillness. The body breathing. The thoughts popping in and out between the awareness of the breath. Not fighting any of it, just allowing. And then thinking about what brought you to roll out your mat this morning. Do you have an intention, a wish for your mind, your body, your spirit? Something you're working on in your everyday life? Knowing that we can bring this work on the mat into our lives. That what happens on the mat is usually a reflection of how we are in our everyday life. Placing that intention in an I am statement, repeating it softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happening. Breathing in, breathing out, allowing the breath to fill the lungs completely, aware of the thoracic body expanding to accept the breath. Thinking about the contrasts in our life with the confusion of last week. We had a deep awareness of what peace looks like. With our being shut in for this time of COVID, we have this knowing of what it looks like to connect with people, that yearning, that need. And with that comes a gratitude, an appreciation for all that we have. So we use the contrast to grow our gratitude so that we can be right here and allow the tide to move around us and not be caught up into it. With your inhale, allow the arms to float up overhead. With your exhale, float them alongside the body, using the breath to guide you, aware of the rooting of the body on the earth, allowing you to move with the breath. And then floating the arms back down to either side of the hips. Curling in the ring finger and the pinky finger, letting the thumb rest against them gently wherever it lands, so that the pointer finger and the middle finger are extended in a peace sign, and allowing those fingers to connect to the earth. So we're resting the arms alongside the body. We feel the pads of the fingers that are extended, rooted to the earth. We call this a mudra. Mudras are connect energy in our bodies. And this brings us back to that connection to the earth and the energy that the earth gives us. Energy in the food that we eat that sustains us. The atmosphere and the oxygen that gives us life. Aware of that connection to the earth that grounds us, that allows us to feel stable and safe. Resting in this stillness. Aware of the peace that the breath brings. The breath that's always there to tap into whenever you need it. Releasing that mudra, and with your inhale, allowing those arms to extend one more time. As you reach into the heels of the feet, and then float the arms down to either side of the hips as you bend one knee and then the other. Just step the feet onto the earth. Becoming aware of the rooting through the soles of the feet. With your inhale, the pelvis tips forward. And with your exhale, tipping it back towards you. Tipping the hip points forward towards the thighs, the knees, and then exhaling, hugging them back towards the ribs. Noticing what's happening in the lower back and the hips, the sacrum, the curve of the spine. With your inhale, as the hips roll forward, the feet draw forward gently. They're not moving. There's just an awareness that wakes up the legs. With your exhale, as if you could slide the feet away from you. Notice the difference in sensation and the muscle activation in the body as you engage the feet. With the inhale, as if you could slide them closer to the hips. With your exhale, as if you could slide them away, resting into the mat. 2 more rounds like this, just exploring sensation. And then finding stillness and a neutral spine, that gentle curve in the lower back. This time we'll take a few rounds of pelvic tilts, but let the core muscles do the work and let the feet just rest on the mat. So that with your exhale, the belly gathers, we draw the lower back in the direction of the earth. With your inhale, the hip points rock forward as the lower back lifts and the front body lengthens. Notice if there's a difference in this gentle movement linked to breath, allowing the core to draw you forward or in and out. And then pausing in a neutral spine to just become aware of any sensation in the body. The sensation of the breath, of the body resting on the earth, the heart beating. Bringing awareness to the soles of the feet as if they were glued to the earth. There's no efforting, as if the feet were glued to the earth. And with your exhale, you begin to lift that right leg as if the glue slowly melts and the knee floats up over the hip. With your exhale, it slowly lowers back down. The left foot is glued to the earth. And then there's a softening as you inhale and allow that foot to lift and the knee to float over the hip. Lowering it slowly down to the earth, following the breath. Nice. One more round with each side. Right foot is glued, starts to melt, and we lift and lower. And then move to the opposite side. My cues are not exact. You're moving with your breath. And when the left foot lowers to the earth, we pause there. Following the breath. Allowing the stillness to settle in the body. To notice the effects of movement. As if both feet are glued to the earth, aware of the soles of the feet. With your exhale, the glue starts to melt. You gently lift one foot and then the other, and they both knees come to rest over the hips. Everything is in slow motion. You're breathing here, aware of any efforting in the body and letting go of that efforting. Maybe this feels okay for you and you're going to stay here with the knees over the hips. Maybe you're lowering that left foot to the floor because there's a tightness or an efforting in the lower back. And you'll come into those toe taps the way we did them before, with one foot on the floor. With your next exhale, that right toe, big toe taps to the floor. It doesn't rest, just tap, and inhale. It floats back up. Exhaling, left toe slowly taps to the floor. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhaling that right foot to the floor, let it land all the way onto the sole. And with your inhale, peeling that foot off the earth. Exhaling, left foot lowers. Letting the sole of the foot land on the earth. Inhale, peeling it off the earth. Both knees are up. Pause, soften, exhale. Both feet, or one and then the other, land back on the earth. Pausing here to breathe in and breathe out. Nice. With your exhale, the right knee draws in. Maybe you give it a little hug, and then you find your strap and place it around the toe joints, the big toe across to the pinky toe joints. If the strap is long enough, you're bending the elbows and sliding the hands down the strap until the upper arms rest on the earth, softening the strap in your hands. It's a gentle connection. Notice the sensation in the back of the leg, right? Side of the leg. What's going on in your body? You're reaching into the sole of the foot, the toe joints, spreading the toes wide. Does that change the sensation? Is there a shift? Reaching the tailbones, the sitting bones rather, towards the top of the mat, allowing the leg maybe to back away from you a little bit. So it's not about drawing the toes overhead so that there's efforting. Just breathing here. Noticing. With your next exhale, extend into the left leg. Let it straighten out onto the earth. Both feet are awake. Left foot flexed, reaching forward. Right foot extending to the ceiling. One more. Breath in, breath out. And then taking the strap and crossing it in back of your legs. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to do that the next cross strap. Yeah, cross your strap, right? And then lift into the heel. The strap is crossed in front of your leg, sorry. And you're lifting into the heel. With your next exhale, bend the knee. Remove the strap. Draw the left knee in to meet the right over the hips. We'll hug that left knee in a little closer to place the strap around the toe joints of the left foot. Exhaling that right foot to the earth and inhaling, extending the left to the ceiling. Sliding the hands down the strap if possible so the upper arms rest on the earth to let go of any efforting in the shoulders. And maybe this side feels a little different already when you just notice and adjust and find a way to rest peacefully in this pose. Left foot is active. Fanning the toes out, broadening across those toe joints. And with your next exhale, that right foot slides out in front of you and we wake up that right foot. Easy breath in, easy breath out. And we cross the strap in front of that left leg. Soften back into the shoulders and reach into that heel. Your body, your practice, honor it. With your next exhale, bending into that left knee so that you can remove that strap. Exhale that right leg knee in to meet the left, maybe a gentle hug, and then float both feet onto the earth. Pause here. Breathe. With your next exhale, that right knee draws in again. We place the strap around the toe joints on the right foot. Slide the arms down. Find that peaceful way to be in the pose. Aware of the sacrum rooted to the earth. Soft shoulders. With your next exhale, allow that right foot and left knee to float away from each other. Strap just in the right hand if that feels better for you, allows for more movement. Pausing here with an awake right foot and an active left as it rests on the earth and allows those legs, the knee and the extended leg, to be away from each other. Smooth, easy breath. And with your exhale, the belly gathers, and your inhale, the leg floats up, the knee comes back up. Nice. And then we're crossing the legs so that the right leg shifts to the left knee shifts to the right. Do you notice? Breathe, soften. Inhale back to center and neutral, sliding the strap down to the heel of the right foot. And for a few rounds of breath, reaching into that heel as it extends to the ceiling. The femur bone settles in the hip socket. Exhale. Bring the legs up to center, bending that right leg so you can remove the strap. Knees are over hips. We switch the strap to the left foot. And when you're ready, floating that foot to extend to the ceiling, the strap around the toes to start, softening the arms, softening the jaw, allowing that right foot to float to the floor if you didn't already. Nice, both feet are awake and active. And with your next exhale, we root the sacrum to the earth. And with your inhale, the legs float away from each other. Right knee out, left leg out. Resting in the center of the hips, the sacrum rooted. With your next exhale, gather. With your inhale, float those legs up to center. Switch the strap to the right hand so that you can cross the right knee and back of the left leg, and the left leg floats over to the right. Notice what you notice. Breathe. Soften. Inhale back up to center. Slide the strap over onto the heel and extend into that leg for just a few rounds of breath. Femur bone rooted in the hip socket. Heel extended to the ceiling. Exhaling, bending that left knee to remove that strap and floating that foot to the earth. I'm pausing here in constructive rest to notice the sensations in the body. With your inhale, allow the arms to extend up overhead. Slide one foot and then the other out in front of you. Soften, breathe. Exhale, float the arms down. Rolling over to one side or the other. Coming to stand through tabletop. Stepping forward mindfully, you know what works for you. Taking your time to come to stand. Maybe you're using a chair or blocks. Moving with intention, coming all the way up to stand. And once you're standing, you're finding your foundation in your Tadasana and rooting into the earth, growing your roots, rooting to rise through the crown of the head, exploring balance, centering by slowly allowing the weight to shift a little to the left, center and right, noticing the weight shifting from side to side on this one foot to the other, maybe even floating a little forward, allowing the weight to shift into the toes, and floating the body a little back, noticing weight shifting to the heels. And then finding your center, equal weight in both feet, as if you could root into the circumference of the heels and rising to the vast possibilities that surround us, breathing into the heart space. And if your chair isn't nearby, or you need to walk to the wall, please do that. So just within reach, coming back to that place of centering, balance, and rooting in our mountain pose, strong and gentle, allowing the weight to shift to the right leg, coming on to the toes of the left foot. Mirror. Maybe you're staying right here today, exploring this expression of tree pose without locking the knee in that standing leg. We allow the opposite knee to float out to the side, finding our foundation here. Maybe the heel rests on the ankle. Maybe you're able to lift the foot and find it connected to the calf. Maybe this is your expression of tree pose. Maybe one hand floats to the heart center as the fingertips of the other allow you to explore the pose, the foundation, the lengthening up, the easy breath. That bent knee can also rest on the chair so that you can explore growing your branches and finding that extension, extending through the fingertips or not. Sometimes just a little help with balance allows us to go so much deeper. Just knowing that that support is there can be a help. Maybe you use it. Maybe you float in and out. With your next inhale, that knee floats forward and we gently step it onto the earth and find our mountain pose again. Pausing here in the stillness to allow the body to absorb the practice. allowing the weight to shift over the left leg so that you can come onto the toes of the right. Inhaling to find length. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe the heel rests against the ankle as you rotate that knee out to the side. Softening through the hips, lengthening through the crown of the head, rooting down. Maybe the foot is on your calf. Maybe you use that chair or wall for balance. Maybe floating or growing your branches as your arms float to a place that feels right for you and the breath is smooth and even. Supported by the earth, safe and secure and grounded so that we can explore. With your inhale, that knee floats forward if you've turned it. With your exhale, we step softly onto the earth as we lower our arms and find the breath in Tadasana. Feet are hips distance. We're inhaling the arms up into goddess or cactus arms. We're exhaling, rooting into the feet, bending the knees, allowing those hips to reach forward. Weight is in the heels, heart stays lifted. With your next inhale, coming up to stand, maybe reaching through the fingertips. With your exhale, floating into that, your expression of chair pose. Shins draw back, hips draw back, toes lightly resting on the earth, maybe a couple of rounds of breath. Inhaling to come to stand without locking the knees, aware of where you are in space. Last time, exhaling, chair pose, soft jaw, long spine. Breathing in, breathing out, as if you could slide the feet away from each other. Maybe with your next exhale, you can sit just a little deeper. Root down to inhale. Come all the way up to exhale. Float the hands through the heart center and resting in your mountain pose. Smoothing the breath out. Making the inhales the same length as the exhales. Inhaling the arms up into goddess. Nice. With your next exhale, we're floating the heart to the left. Inhaling to center and exhaling right. There's a softness in the hips and the lower back, so we're not rigid. Gentle twists, side to side, exploring your body's natural range of motion. Soft shoulders. Nice, no efforting, beautiful. The next time you come back to center, float the arms down and roll through the shoulders. Big circles. And forward a couple of times. Shoulder blades are sliding forward, down, together, and up. Slow it down. And the next time you inhale, the shoulders slide up to the ears, and with your exhale, they soften down the back. And we're breathing into that space below the collarbone. And stepping to the top of your mat if you're not already there. moving that chair so it's not in your way, but also there if you need the support. With your inhale, allow the arms to float out, around, and up. Maybe even the eyes lift, not necessarily the chin. Exhale, hinging forward to come into that half forward fold. Inhale there. Exhale, your choice to move a little deeper by hinging at the hips or straightening a little into the back of the knees. Breathe there, belly's hugging up to support the lower back, spine is long, heart is open. We root down so that with your inhale, you can float up slowly with the breath to exhale and bring it to the heart center. 2 more rounds like this, guided by your breath to inhale and find length. Honor your shoulders, exhale. Float forward, the arms don't have to extend, there are no rules. Inhale to lengthen the crown of the head. Exhale to float deeper if that feels right for you. Inhale to float up with a flat back, a long spine. Exhale to bring it to the heart center. Last round, inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, lengthening, extending, exhaling. Heart center, hands can pause. Rest here at the heart or extend to reach towards the earth. For a few rounds of breath to check in. To notice any shifts. The sensation in the body. Smooth out the breath. And soften where you become aware of any gripping or tightness. Softly blink and open the eyes if you've closed them, stepping to the top of the mat. If you have a chair, I'd really like to try using it so we can explore some balancing strength poses, knowing that you're safe and you have that support if you need it. Fingertips resting on that chair. With your inhale, we grow our spines long. With our exhale, we find the foundation through the soles of the feet. Inhale, lengthening through the heart, and exhale, hinging forward. Hands resting on that chair. With your next inhale, allow the weight to shift over the right leg so you can slide that left foot back. If you're ready, you're activating that left leg and lifting it towards the ceiling. Both hips are facing the floor. Nice. Maybe you'll stay here. There's a softness to the back of that right knee, but the muscles in the thigh are hugging to the bone. And that left leg is active. It's reaching to the ceiling. Notice the glutes kick in, right, to help with that work against gravity. Maybe that left hip opens up to stack on top of the right. Maybe that left shoulder stacks on top of the right. So that the front body opens up and we reach through that leg. Nice. With your next exhale, everything floats to face the floor and that left foot floats down. Pause, soften, allowing the weight to shift over the left leg so that you can slide that right foot back. And when you're ready, rooting down and lifting through that right leg, both hips facing the floor. heart lengthening away from the belly. That right leg is active, reaching straight out of the hip and up to the ceiling. The left leg is strong and rooted. Maybe you float that right hip to stack over the left, the right shoulder to stack over the right. Chair for balance. Core is supporting you, long spine. Reaching into the sole of that right foot and lifting it straight up. Nice. Inhale, floating to face the floor. Exhale, that right foot lands. And inhale all the way up to stand. Floating into your expression of mountain pose. Knowing that I only offer suggestions to explore the body, meeting it wherever it is. Knowing when to challenge and when to soften, guided by the breath. Resting the heel of the hands on the back of the chair if you have a chair, and walking the hips back until the head floats between the arms and the knees soften, parallel to the earth or something like that. What feels right for you. Feeling into that opening in the side body, right and left. That lengthening through the back body. Breathing here. Supported by the feet that are rooted into the earth, strong legs. With your exhale, the belly gently gathers and the hip creases reach back. Where the thighs come into the hips. Do you notice the body responding to that? What sensation do you become aware of? Where do you need to soften or let go? So that you can allow the breath to move a little deeper and massage from the inside out. As if you could breathe into the armpits. And then you'll deeply bend that left leg and straighten into the right as you draw that right hip back. And then bend the right knee as you straighten the left and draw that left hip back. Moving from side to side, noticing what you notice without judging it, meeting your body wherever it is today. Nice. With your exhale, we come to stillness and the belly gathers, the knees bend, and we walk ourselves up slowly to inhale all the way up to stand. Shoulders sliding down the back. Breathing in and breathing out. Growing our roots to lengthen through the crown of the head. Allowing the breath to move freely. With your inhale, gaze over the right shoulder. Soften there. Exhale. And inhale to center. Exhale, root down. Inhale, gaze over the left. Exhale, soften. Inhale, floating back to center, and then with your own breath, exploring your natural range of motion as you gaze side to side, aware of the earth beneath you, the breath that guides you. And then the next time you float to center, finding stillness, allow the chin to soften just a little towards the notch in the collarbone. And exhale, the right ear floats towards the right shoulder. The right shoulder stays down the back. Breathing into the left side of the neck, into the top of the shoulder. Layers and layers of muscle. Softening the chin towards the collarbone, gazing to the floor. Breathing into a different group of muscles there. Exhale, inhale to lift the chin to forward and the head to stack over on top of the spine. With your next exhale, the left ear softens to the left shoulder. Maybe this side feels a little different. Maybe you allow the chin to float towards the collarbone, shifting the gaze to the floor. Allowing the breath to massage from the inside out. Inhaling to gaze forward and allow the head to come to stack up on top of the spine. Nice. Rolling through the shoulders again in slow motion. So the shoulders slide up to the ears, they slide together, and they soften down the back. Sliding forward, up to the ears, to the center of the back, and down towards the waist. One more round like this, exploring the shoulder blades. And then allowing them to rest, breathing into that space across the collarbone. Nice. Allowing the weight to shift over the right leg so you can step or slide the left foot back. Our warrior one, front facing posture. And then find your foundation that feels safe and comfortable. So maybe you walk the feet wider, forward, back, side to side. We root into that earth beneath us and we lengthen to the sky above us. And we inhale the arms into T and reach into the fingertips, but soften through the tops of the shoulders. And with your exhale, the right arm floats under the left. Maybe you're able to cross at the elbows and the backs of the hands come together. Maybe you clasp each elbow and the arms are out in front of you. Where do you land? There is no right or wrong. Soften into the back body, aware of that opening now as the shoulder blades find their way out to the sides, away from each other. Reaching the elbows away from the body just enough so that you become aware of that opening. Nice. Inhale there. Exhale. Rediscover that foundation and the strong legs. Inhale. Lead with the heart and exhale. Soften the knees. Fold forward and a little to the right. So where does your body take you in this forward fold? Exhale, root down, gather the belly, and inhale all the way up to stand. Nice. Maybe 2 more rounds like this. Maybe you're passing on this. Maybe you're releasing those crossed elbows to find a different way of coming into the pose. But only you know what's right for you. And after that last round, flowing in and out, allowing the breath to guide you. Allow that back foot to step forward, release the arms, shake it out, let it go, and land in your foundation again. Pause to breathe, to regroup. And the weight shifts to the left leg so we can step, slide, or walk that right foot back. And we find a foundation that works on this side. And then we root into it. So the legs become active without locking out the knees so that we can float the ribs out of the hips and lengthen the crown to the ceiling. We inhale and extend through the fingertips for a broad opening. And we exhale the left arm over the right. Yes. Reversing that cross. Maybe the backs of the hands come together. Maybe you're clasping the elbows because that feels more comfortable than crossing them. We slide the elbows away from the body, just enough to become aware of the opening. Exhale to find the connection to the earth again. Inhale to extend through the heart space, and leading with that heart, we hinge forward, keeping the heart long, the crown of the head lengthening away, and we root into the legs, and on your inhale, float up. Slowly, mindfully aware of the foundation of the legs and the core that supports you, exhaling, hinging forward, drawing that left hip crease back, reaching into the right heel, and floating up. With the inhale, maybe 1 more round like this. Smooth out the breath. When you're ready, you're floating all the way up. Inhaling, extending the arms, exhaling, floating them down, and mindfully stepping that right foot to meet the left. Resting gently on the earth and growing your roots. Resting in the stillness of your mountain pose. Allowing the body to accept the benefits of the practice. The practice of bringing the mind, the body, and the spirit into balance. With your inhale, allow the arms to extend. With your exhale, folding forward. Inhale, finding length. Exhaling to deeply bend the knees so the hands come to the chair or the blocks or the earth so that you can mindfully step one knee to the earth and then the other. Maybe you're pausing here to take a few rounds of cat and cow if that suits you. Maybe it feels better to be on your forearms, not extended arms. And when you're ready, getting movement through the spine, maybe the big toes touch and knees walk wide so that you can find an easy way to come into child pose. Using the breath to bring you deeper into the stillness of that pose. the intention of returning length to the back body so that the breath can fill the lungs completely. Maybe becoming aware of the breath in the back body. Breathing into the side ribs, as if you could inflate from the armpits to the waist. Aware of the broadening, of the expansion with the inhale, of the softening with the exhale. Just noticing how you're being in the stillness. How do you meet this moment? Exhaling there, using the palms on the earth to inhale yourself up so that you can let the hips come to one side and slowly extend the legs out in front of you, walking up to the top of the mat, scooting up to the top of the mat, and slowly lowering yourself down to rest on your back. There's a smooth, even breath. You surrender to the earth beneath you, to that support. With your exhale, one knee and then the other float up into the chest. Maybe you clasp in back of the thighs. Pausing there to notice the spine extended on the earth. And maybe you rock from side to side or make some circles. Rocking from one hip to the other, the lower back opens towards the floor and then moves away. And then reversing the circles if you're taking circles. Pausing here and exhaling that left foot to the floor and inhaling, reaching through the right. From the inner thigh, rotating that leg to turn out and then crossing the ankle over the thigh. Pausing here. Maybe this is where you'll stay. Maybe you'll inhale the arms into goddess. Maybe you're able to walk that left heel a little closer. Offering that right knee to move away from you, keeping that right foot awake. With your exhale, maybe you rock over to the left as if you could stand the right foot on the earth, the knee to the ceiling, allowing a gentle twist and a lengthening through the right side body. Where do you feel it? Exhale there. The breath keeps moving. Inhale, float up to center. Maybe you move in and out of this. Maybe you rest in the stillness. Your body, your breath, how does it feel? What is your intention? Does this flow move you into that place of intention? Next time you inhale up, find stillness. Extend that right leg up to the ceiling. Bend the knee and float that foot to softly step onto the earth. To inhale that left leg and extend it up from the inner thigh, rotating out and crossing the ankle over the thigh. Maybe the arms are still up in goddess or out in T, maybe not. Breathing into that opening across the heart space. Maybe you have a room to walk that right heel a little closer to the sitting bone, offering that left knee to float away from you. That left foot is awake and active, and with your exhale, maybe you're allowing the knees to float to the right for a gentle twist and lengthening. When you're ready, you're exhaling and inhaling up to neutral, landing in the middle on the sacrum, floating in and out of this expression or not, which is your intention. Just flowing in and out of this, bring you to that intention. Exploring the body with the breath, bringing it back into balance. And the next time you inhale up, find stillness. Extend that left leg straight up to the ceiling. Then the knee floated to the earth. Allow one leg and then the other to slide out in front of you. Walking both legs over to the left, keeping the hips on the earth. Maybe shifting the shoulders a little over to the left for a deep opening in the right side body. Maybe that right arm reaches overhead. And you're breathing into the right side body as if you can inflate the right armpit. The breath extends all the way down into the waist. With your inhale, floating back to a stacked spine, resting on the earth. That right arm floats down if you've extended it. Both legs walk or shift over to the right. Equal weight in both hips. Maybe the shoulders shift a little to the right. You pause here to notice. And maybe you add the left arm wherever it lands and feels right for you. Inflating the left side body. Massaging with the breath from the inside out. And coming back to a stacked spine with the breath to slide the legs back under the hips, the shoulders over the hips. Maybe with your exhale, you gaze over that right shoulder, inhaling up to center, and exhaling to gaze over the left shoulder, rolling on the back of the head, side to side, meeting your body wherever it is. Coming to gaze to the ceiling, exhaling the knees up over the hips and floating one knee and then the other over to one side. Extending the arms out in T and then gazing to the fingertips opposite the knees if that feels good for you. Softening with each exhale to let go of the efforting in the back body. To rest. your inhale, gazing up to the ceiling. With your exhale, the knees float up and then over to the other side. Turning your gaze to the fingertips opposite the knees. Maybe this side feels a little different, and you use those exhales to move into an even peaceful expression, more peaceful expression. With your inhale, gazing up to the ceiling. With your exhale, the knees float up. And you're taking any final movement to complete your practice, and then covering up so that you can rest in Shavasana, knowing that the body cools down after all this heating up, to allow the body to absorb the practice. Allowing the body to settle into that support beneath it, choosing stillness. Let go of all the efforting and movement. Use the exhales to soften the space between the eyes, allowing the eyes to rest into the back of the head. The forehead melts to the earth, and all the muscles surrounding the eyes soften and release. And you're following the breath from beginning to end. Where does the inhale start? Where does the exhale leave? What sensations are you aware of? Using the exhales to soften the jaw, to allow the tongue to soften away from the roof of the mouth and the lips to gently meet. All the muscles in the face melting to the earth. Aware of the breath. Cool air flowing in over the upper lip. Breath warmed by the body leaving. The inhale, and the body is restored. The exhale, and let go of the used breath to create space for that next inhale. The body breathing, resting on the earth beneath us, the vast sky above us, and the wise heart that lies between the two. Following the breath from beginning to end. And I'll be here to guide you out. Slowly becoming aware of the earth beneath you. Breathing into the space surrounding you. Inviting movement into the fingertips and toes. Rotating the ankles and the wrists. Maybe slowly turning your head from side to side. And with an inhale, maybe the arms extend. And with an exhale, they float to a comfortable position as you bend one knee and then the other to gently step the feet onto the earth. Pausing here, deepening the inhales and the exhales. Noticing what the practice has given to you today. Rolling over onto one side or the other, using your arm as a pillow. Breathing into the front and back of the heart space. Feeling more awake and alert with every inhale. Thinking about what draws up the corners of your mouth. Keeping the eyes softly closed if that suits you. Press yourself up into an easy, peaceful, seated position. And one more inhale allows us to extend and lengthen, and our exhale floats the palms together to rest at the heart center. Maybe pausing to take that grounding, rooting mudra one more time, putting our fingers into a peace sign, letting the pads of the fingers root into the earth. The earth that grounds us, that supports us, that nourishes us, that's always there. And inhaling to float the hands back to the heart center. And we lift our hearts and we bow our heads, honoring that perfect light that shines in all of us and unites us. Inviting you to practice continuously with an open heart. And may your practice be of benefit to all beings. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May they be healthy. May all beings know peace, find their freedom, and walk on this earth with ease. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me.